There's an interesting word that I was going to pretend like I just discovered it, but I knew the word already. Actually, I just but today I was reminded of it, and it's just it's a funny word. It's the word is defenestration. For those of you who don't know, defenestration is defined as the act of throwing a person or a thing out of a window. There's also an informal definition, and it could also mean to sort of kick somebody out of a position of authority. It's a bit more figurative, but the imagery associated with even that definition is clearly the act of tossing a person or a thing outside of a window. Um, it's funny that we have that word. It's funny that that word exists. That it's common enough, or it was common enough at some time, to throw people out of windows, to throw things out of windows. So much so that people were like, you know what? I don't want to use all of the various words in language to describe the action. I wish we had just one word, one simple verb that we could use. He defenestrated that man. She defenestrated that person. We're going to defenestrate you if you do not leave through the door. That it's interesting that needed to have that was a word that we at one point decided, it'd be better if we had this word as our go-to. um I don't know if in my own life I've ever actually seen a person be defenestrated. I've never really seen defenestration in person. We were taught in my house not to litter, so I haven't seen even things being thrown out of windows. Maybe a ball to somebody in the backyard, like, oh, here you go play. But I'm almost making that up because I don't have a specific memory of that happening. In fact, my only memory of defenestration is actually in the motion picture Braveheart. There is a scene in that film where um, Edward Longshanks, who is a ruthless king in England, according to the film, he throws his son's lover out of a window um, for getting uppity with him because the king has got problems with Mel Gibson up in Scotland, and the king is sort of complaining about it, and the lover, his son's lover, is like, you know what, here's what we should do, and the king is like, I don't need your advice. I've got it handled. I just wanted to vent a little bit, and you're making it seem like I'm incompetent, and that's not gonna fly here. That's not gonna fly. You are gonna fly, and he throws him out of the window. Unfortunately for the man, he dies. It's a long drop. I don't know if the king knew that, but I'm assuming he did. But he was the king, so he wasn't in trouble. He wasn't in trouble for it. The son was a little upset, but the son was also weak. So, you know, he tried to kill the king, but that scene reminded me a lot of an episode of The Wire where there is it's a complicated situation to describe, and it's, but if you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. There is a gang leader, and there is a hit on this gang leader, and the hit fails miserably, and the character who was the victim, supposed to be the victim of this hit, says, "You come for the king, you best not miss," and then he kills all of the people who came after him. That was a really cool line. I thought that was a really really cool scene. And that reminded me the scene where the son tries to attack his father, the king. he misses, but he didn't really face the same. He didn't get defenestrated. Which when I first saw the film, I thought, that would be kind of cool if he defenestrated two people in a row. It would be a little maybe excessive on that form of killing. Um, I've noticed that when there's a particularly interesting way to kill somebody in a movie, they don't like to do it a bunch of times because they don't want to diminish its, it's like interesting, the they don't want to diminish the fact that it's an interesting way to kill somebody, the potency of it. And I understand that, but I thought that, two defenestrations back to back in the same scene, they could just be remembered as, a single moment of defenestration. It wouldn't really feel like they were repeating themselves. They obviously felt differently, and so they did not defenestrate him. But he was not happy about. Neither character was happy. It was not a. They did not have a good relationship in that movie. But yeah, I'm wondering about the word a little bit. I feel like when I learn new words, I like to use them a lot, and I like to, kind of, especially when they're sort of, impressive, long, multiple syllable words that not a lot of people know. I can just sort of casually work them into conversation, and people go, "I'm not sure what that means," but he's been around a dictionary clearly. That's a satisfying feeling for me. I always try to do that, but defenestrate is going to be a bit of a challenging word to fit casually into conversation, since I don't really see it. I'll probably have to start defenestrating people myself. I'll have to defenestrate somebody, and then when I do it, I'll be like, you know what, don't do what that guy did, or you'll be defenestrated too. And they'll be like, I don't know what defenestrated means, but judging on the context, it probably means being thrown out of a window. So I best, I best keep a civil tongue, and I don't want to go for the king because I could miss, and then be defenestrated. Um, that's just the status of that word in my life as it applies to my life. It's not relevant yet, but I'm thinking that it should be. So